Well, hello and how are you? Hey, this is Shenandoah Briscoe coming to you live right here in St. Charles. Yes, sir, this is blog number 153, and you can see that I am alive. So I survived it. I went over to John Cochran Hospital, and I had that test done. And, well, it I don't know whether it worked exactly the way they planned on it to work or not, on account, well, I had a UTI, and the book says specifically if you've got an infection that it may or may not work correctly. And then, B, they said that I should go ahead and do about my daily routine, and I ended up laying in the bed all day long, and that's not my daily routine. You know as well as I know that I am up and in my chair about 10 hours a day, and so therefore I couldn't tell you whether the test actually functioned the way they thought it had functioned the best anyway. Now I do know that I did relax some for a little while, and I was more relaxed at that point in time. But had I tried to move my arms or whatever, my legs did do a little bit of moving around. So I don't know. I don't know if it was a good test or not, because, like I said, I had the UTI in the first place. So that being said, I had a lot of great staff people over there at the VA, all the way from the top of the chain down to the bottom of the chain. I tell you what, some of them people that were in there doing the housekeeping, housekeepers get overlooked a lot of the times, and well, they weren't being. I'm not going to overlook them. I was glad to see them in there doing their job, because you know what, housekeeping keeps your whole hello, did you want to be on video? That's okay, it's all up to you. Anyway, that was my caregiver / roommate hiding, crawling in the back there. But anyway, that being said, housekeeping is a very important part of the hospital and the way it's ran, because, well, you know yourself that there are such things as not staph infection, it's a new name for it, but whatever the case is, bacteria spreading from room to room to room, and if the rooms aren't clean, well, then you'll get your spread of your diseases. So therefore, it's always good to have a good housekeeper, and these guys were doing their job. Because I tell you what, Joel, and I say Joel because his name was Joel, not J-L-E-O, J-O-E-L, Joel. Anyway, he seemed to be doing a great job for us. And then there was another guy in there, and I don't remember his name, and I'm sorry that I can't mention his name, but he done a good job too. And then I had Rachel in there, and I had Anna and Natalie, and then I also had Keisha, and I think that was it. But anyway, I had quite a few people, and I believe that from on top of all them folks is Chloe, and she's from top down. Cleo, I think there was a guy named Cleo too. But anyway, maybe Cleo is. Anyway, whatever the case may be, I'll tell you what, that they know how to run a tight ship over there. So if you do have to go over to John Cochran and you're in your spinal cord wing, they now have a whole wing set aside for you, and it's called the ward. Ward 7 over there is spinal cord ward. It ain't like it was last time I was over there, because last time, I tell you what, I thought I was going to die, because they didn't have a spinal cord ward. So the people that were in that section didn't know how to take care of somebody with a spinal cord injury. And at that point in time, I was admitted for pneumonia. Yes, sir. And whenever you're coughing and you're choking and you can't hardly speak, and hit your call switch and they ask you what's happening and you can't answer them because you got a mouthful of gobstopper and you're trying to throw it and spit it and you can't, and you have to rely on your roommates to call you for help. So I've got 3 guys I was in the room with, and they were yelling, "Hey, you better get down here, this guy's going to choke to death." And so they showed up, but it just wasn't a good experience for me that time. But this time I sure had a good time. Well, I say a good time. How much good time can you have in the hospital? But I did promote my blog, and I talked about my blog quite a bit, and I kind of gave them each a rendition of my blog. And well, I enjoy being over at the hospital because I do get to meet a lot of new faces. Now, of course, they were all married, so it didn't help me none as far as bringing me home a new wife. But, you know, I'm trying. I'm always trying. But it just didn't happen. Anyway, that being said, that's my commercial for John Cochran Hospital this time, okay? Let's see, I know I'm not supposed to sing, but I was singing all day long in that hospital when I wasn't sleeping. That's one of the side effects of this stuff. It could make you drowsy, and well, it did. Maybe it wasn't the fact that it made me drowsy. I was sleeping from the word go. When I got over there to the hospital, before they even put the stuff in my spine, actually that's what I had, was a spinal tap, and they injected some baclofen into my system, liquid form of baclofen. It's the same stuff, only I got a different name for it, but it's a liquid form of baclofen. But anyway, that's the whole idea behind the pump. It injects it into your spine. They put a hockey puck on your front of your belly, and then they run a tube back there to your spine, and they inject it, and it doesn't go directly into the spinal fluid. It actually goes into the fluid surrounding the spinal cord. So it doesn't break the spinal cord it doesn't break the spinal cord shell. It just goes into the fluid around the spinal cord. That's what I meant to say. Anyway, I don't know if it worked or not, because they didn't let me up in my chair, so all I was doing was laying around in a bed, and well, you can't really tell anything there. Plus I had the UTI, so until the UTI is healed up, and if they really want to test it, then they're going to have to let me up in my chair so I can do my normal routine, and I'll know if I'm having extra spasms. Because I tell you what, once I've gotten in my chair, I haven't had any spasms at all today. But that's because I got my knees bent. And, well, there you go. Ever since I got back in my wheelchair, I've been fine. And I haven't had any spasms. Notice I'm not having any spasms right now, shoving me back in the chair. And normally, by this time, you've seen me spaz back 2 or 3 times. So, I just got to worry about getting my, I got to worry about getting myself cleared up of this UTI, because that increases my spasms all on its own. And so, therefore, I'll probably be drinking a beer. Not right now, maybe later. And I might drink one now, but I mean, not tonight. I mean tomorrow or next day, because, well, usually, generally speaking, my UTIs are on account of built up yeast, extra yeast in my system. And, well, if you drink a beer, if you don't normally drink, and you drink you a beer, an alcoholic beverage with yeast in it, why, it tells your brain that you've got enough yeast in your system. We need to stop making yeast. Therefore, you'll stop your yeast infection. But I'm sure they're going to do a culture and they're going to send me out a antibiotic. They did give me a ciprofloxacin, which I'm allergic to floxin, but not floxacin, apparently, because I took one and it didn't bother me. I had no side effects from it, so I guess they'll probably end up sending me that out. Anyway, I really wanted to sing, but I don't know what I was singing there. I was singing a bunch of my own songs, plus I did sing again, not Sunshine on a Cloudy Day, because there weren't no sunshine, and it was a cloudy day. As a matter of fact, there's supposed to be a storm rolling in here shortly. When I did come home, my roommate there, she called me on the phone. When I called her on the phone and let her know I was coming in, she said I may not want to come in the main drag that I normally come in because there's water across the road. Well, there wasn't actually water there when I got there. It was half on one side and half coming up the other side, but right down the middle it was nice and clear, so I drove on up past it. But she said there was about a foot of water when she got home, so somebody had told her about it, so whatever the case may be. When I did get home, though, she had the whole yard weed-eated, and it looked really good. See, if your yard's weed-eated, then the grass that's taller out in the yard, it doesn't look quite so tall anymore, so that's a good thing. You can get away without mowing a couple more days if you got the whole place weed-eated. There you go. That's always a good thing. And before, she was leery of weed eating in between the front part of my little island and my sidewalk in the front of my house, on account I had at one point in time my sun sensor lamps that were up there, my solar lamps that were up there. Well, I had 4 of them tied into one sensor panel, so they were wired. And well, she was believing that the wires were still there, but that sensor panel got all coated with something or other and it stopped working, so my mom had changed out those lights, so this time she could go ahead and weed eat in there and not worry about the wires anymore. So therefore she did. Let's see, what else was there? Oh, that was it. I was singing that song that I like to sing, you know, the one from Sister Act 2. When Jesus washed my sins away. There you go. Oh, my Jesus, when my Jesus, he washed my sins away. Oh, happy day. That's what it is. Oh, happy day. That's what I was singing. And then I sang a couple of my own songs. And then, of course, I told him a few stories. I told him my fishing joke, of course, about the ice fishing, which I've told you several times, so I don't have to repeat that one. I'm just kind of jibber-jabbering on account I don't know what to really talk about. I mean, I talked about the baclofen pump, my dear, and I talked about the fact that I don't know that it's going to work for me. Then again, the test was faulty. So had I had a actual test, had the events followed the actual rule or guidelines of the test, then maybe it would work, maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. But that being said, it's almost about that time. We got 30 seconds, so I'm going to go ahead and lay it on you. All right. This here Shenandoah Briscoe saying hello and how are you? You know, God loves you and so do I. So be blessed and we'll check you tomorrow. Alrighty? Alright, you tune in because I'll be here. Wasn't here yesterday, but I'll be here tomorrow. Okie dokie? Well, okie dokie.